Rob Bradford of WEEI is presented by McFarland Energy, the region's most dependable provider of home heating oil, including bioheat.
Speaking of energy.
As well as expert HVAC services at McFarlandEnergy.com. Bradfo, McFarland to you.
Oh, my goodness. Listen, Mego, when you exchange your nuptials, can you yell McFarland when you finish it off?
When you're down in the submersible, could you yell McFarland one time?
Is that code?
Yes. No, that's well-established code. Bradford, what went down? Was it 2 days ago at Fenway? Was it yesterday? I've lost track now with my Boston Red Sox. 2 days ago against the Brewers. What went down with Chris Martin and Quentin Berry kind of getting into it there? And whose side were you on in that whole dust-up?
Well, I don't really have a problem with what Berry did because I think Chris Martin was in the heat of the moment, and as I found out, the first baseman Dom Smith, they sort of went to him. Can you believe they bunted twice? And Chris Martin's a fiery guy on the mound, so he's like, yeah, I can't believe it. And then he muttered something, and Quentin Berry heard it, and he got all fired up. But I think we needed a little bench clearing brouhaha, even though it was a very, very minor brouhaha. You could feel, and I said this to Martin yesterday, which was, I don't know, if it's going to be sustainable. All I know is that when that happens, everyone at Fenway Park picks their head up from their phone, turns to the field and starts paying attention and starts cheering, and the place gets electric. And let's be honest, it hasn't been like that nearly enough. So I'm not saying you have to have a fight every time, but sometimes, 2018, the Godfather Joe Kelly beating up Tyler Austin. We all know how that happened. I don't think it's rarely a bad thing, especially when nobody gets hurt.
So Chris Martin is an unwritten rules guy, I guess. Who's the big unwritten rules guy in baseball now? Who is that?
Who is the big unwritten rules guy?
Yeah, who's a big, this is how the game should be played, follow the unwritten rules. Who is that? Because Chris Martin seemed to be that the other day.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, talking to Martin, he was sort of, he backed off a little bit. And I think if you're going to shock, I'm not a big unwritten rules guy. I'm just not, especially when it comes to bunting. And I think that he sort of came off that a little bit because, again, heat of the moment. But when you ask, who's the big unwritten rules guy, you know who it is? It's the guy who's not happy about the way things going and is trying to tie themselves into knots. It's like Rick Carlisle the other night, right? Rick Carlisle saying, I can't believe that these people are planning the trophy presentation.
Yeah. If
that doesn't get your blood boiling, well, of course they are. They can't just, you know what just happened? We have to give a trophy. It was so that's sort of my segue or my comparison to the unwritten rules in basketball. I think it always happens to the people who are trying to grasp at straws.
I want to ask you about this report from USA Today about the Red Sox planning to trade Kenley Jansen ahead of the trade deadline. Have you heard anything about that? And if that's the plan, what kind of trade is that going to be? Is that just sending out this big contract that maybe they didn't even want at the beginning of the season? Or do you think it would be something where they bring something back to Fenway?
Well, first of all, it doesn't surprise me. And, I think that, Kenley was taking the high road in his comments yesterday, but I think he absolutely thinks that this is probably the case. And it goes back to spring training. And one of the things that was interesting talking to Kenley yesterday was how he admitted that throughout spring training, all the trade rumors starting when he landed in Fort Myers really he was not handling it well. It was awkward for him. He hadn't gone through that before. And he said now he's got a better handle of it. He understands it's a business. And let's be honest, this isn't rocket science. If they're out of it and they're going to be any kind of sellers, he's going to be at the top of the list. To answer your question, Mego, about what that's going to look like, it all comes down to if you want to eat the money, you're going to get a better player. If you don't want to eat the money, then you're just getting rid of the money and get a worse player. That's how a contract at $15 million or $16 million works. But, I don't think it surprises him. And I think that it's absolutely accurate that when they get into the position, if they feel like they're going to sell off anything, he's going to be at the top of the list.
Well, if they are selling off, I guess the question is how far is that sale going to go? They have a lot of starting pitchers that I think other people in the league would be interested in. If they're doing a full-on sale here at the deadline, could any of those guys be in trouble? Or not in trouble, but could they be on the block?
No, it's just a bunch of it's the guys who are on the short-term deals. If the client conversation, you have to look at all the guys who are in the last year of their contracts, and obviously Nick Pivetta might be at the top of that list.
Right.
Tyler O'Neill is another one. So they have guys, as you said, Kenley Jansen, Chris Martin. I mean, they have pieces. If they want to go that route, then fine. All I want is this: if you get to that point, just don't go halfway. Don't go halfway like they did before, because Heimblum gets a lot of heat, and he should catch a lot of heat for how he approached the trade deadline. But that year that he played both sides of it. The one deal that he made, Christian Vasquez, he actually got Willie Abreu. It was a good trade. Now, he would have gotten a couple of Willie Abreu's if he traded Xander Bogaerts and J.D. Martinez and these other guys. So don't go halfway. Figure out a lane. And I'm not saying the lane should be selling, because you're still in it. And if you get to who knows, it's the who knows world of baseball. So why not? But I'm just saying, if you sell, then make sure that you do not go halfway with this.
That was going to be my next question. Is the general assumption that they're going to be big sellers at the trade deadline? Is there anything that the team can do to prove themselves worthy of some buying in on them?
Well, what will be interesting is how, because a lot of this isn't Breslow's team, a lot of it, right? This isn't a lot of these guys aren't Breslow's players, so he has that sort of fail-safe. And so if you get to that point, and if there's any question, and you're saying, oh, look, they're only 3 games out of the wild card, and he doesn't believe in him, then he's going to sell him, and he's like, well, I just don't think that's going to be the way to go. But the thing is that, that's why the underdog comment last year, I think, was the wrong play. You were a game out of the wild card facing the team that you were behind for 3 games. You were definitively in it. And the other part about it, in the world of baseball, if you find yourself, like the Arizona Diamondbacks, like the Rangers did last year, if you find yourself in position, then add to it and then see where it goes. If you ask me what I think is going to happen, I don't think they're going to do it, because, again, I think Craig Breslow has bigger picture visions when it comes to this team that goes well beyond 2024.
Bradford, Angel Hernandez announced his retirement, and he is considered one of the worst umpires of all time. I put him up there with the Buckners and the Wendell Stetson sort of guy, Joe West. You sort of think of these umpires who had these bad reputations. I feel like in baseball, no one has a worse reputation than him. Is it deserved? Does Angel Hernandez deserve all the crap he gets? Yeah,
because it's the eye test, right? And it's the eye test. We see it too many times. We saw it too. Even if it was 1978, we were watching this on This Week in Baseball. We could tell this guy was bad. But now we have the umpire scorecard. We have the social media. We have all of it. And it was over and over and over again. And you mentioned like the C.B. Buckners or Joe West. Yeah, they do not have good reputations, but nothing was like Angel Hernandez. And Major League Baseball knew this too. And they were trying to get this guy out for a long, long time. And for however they did it, they finally got him out. But he can be a night.
So Bradford, I was just going to ask that. Why now? Like that's what's so odd to me. But they're dropping it in the middle of the year. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, my guess is there's some agreement because again, when anything like this came up before, there was sort of union issues, there was legal issues, there was this stuff that should not have been factored in that was. So to answer your question, I can't tell you definitively this is why this happened absolutely now, but I don't think it's a coincidence. I don't think it's like all of a sudden, oh yeah, it just seemed like the right time. No, it seemed like the right time because all the I's were dotted and T's were crossed. But all I know is that it was a bad look for baseball because this is the highest level, obviously, and this guy was actually doing playoff games not that long ago, and everybody knew he was bad. So yeah, I guess it's a step in the right direction, although it takes away from a lot of internet and social media fun.
No, well, that's very true. Well, you can check out lots of internet and social media fun. Baseball Isn't Boring with Rob Bradford, WEEI as well. I'm still looking forward to the Wasabi Challenge. We'll have to get that going next time you're in person here, Bradford.
What do we got next? Next week. Absolutely, that's going to be. I've purchased the wasabi.
I believe we're going to be at Fenway on Tuesday. Don't hold me to this, but I believe we're going to be at Fenway Tuesday. Is that no good for you?
No, it's perfect.
That's perfect.
It's all
Okay.
coming together.
I believe
it's all coming together.
I believe I've been told Alex Cora may have to adjust his schedule next week, and we're planning on being there Tuesday. I will fact check myself on that, but if that's the case, we'll do it next Tuesday. Okay.
Well, he can participate as well. And I'll bring the gallon of milk. Right, that's what you do when you have to you eat the hot wings. You have to drink.
That's what they do on the wing show.
Yeah, I don't need the milk.
Right. There's nothing is more delicious than a spoonful of wasabi and a gallon of milk.
I can't wait. We'll do that next week when we talk to you, Bradford. Thanks so much.
All right. I'll see you guys later.